On that rainy night, Clara was completely alone at home. Outside, the storm was hitting the roof with fury, and the wind howled, making the windows shake as if invisible hands were trying to force their way in. The house groaned under the assault, a lonely outpost against the chaos. The lights flickered, a spooky dance between light and shadow. Each flicker left the house in suffocating darkness for seconds, where imagination ran wild, filling the void with scary shapes and the palpable feeling of being watched. Restless, needing a break from the constant noise and the heavy silence between thunderclaps, Clara made a sudden decision: to tidy up the basement. It was an irrational urge to impose order while chaos reigned. She had always avoided that place, a storage of forgotten things and childhood fears. The smell of damp wood and wet earth rose through the cracks of the door. The constant cold feeling and the creaking of the stairs seemed like an old, persistent warning. Don't go down. But on that night, the need to act was stronger than the fear. She ignored the bad feeling, grabbed a flashlight, and with a trembling hand that betrayed her resolve, turned the cold doorknob. As she opened the door, a dragging sound from below made her pause. What was that? It was faint, almost imagined. Even so, she began to descend the creaking steps into the darkness. Each step Clara took downwards echoed in the emptiness, a spooky tune in the growing darkness of the basement. She felt a knot of dread tighten in her stomach, but she had to know what was down here. Creak, creak, creak. The cold, damp air clung to her skin, raising goosebumps. The sound seemed to multiply, a phantom rhythm as if invisible footsteps were following her down into the abyss. Clara froze, her heart pounding a frantic drum against her ribs. She turned slowly, the flashlight beam slicing through the oppressive darkness, but the stairs behind her were empty. Absolutely nothing there. Just the open door at the top of the stairs and the sound of the rain outside, a distant, safer world. At the bottom, the smell of mold and decay was suffocating, a tangible presence. A profound silence reigned, broken only by the rhythmic, maddening drip of water. With hesitation, she began to rummage through some old boxes, the flashlight beam dancing nervously over forgotten objects. Inside, she found black and white photos with nameless, staring faces, moth-eaten clothes and broken toys. A graveyard of memories. Everything seemed normal, a heavy silence broken only by her own ragged breath. Until she heard a faint sound, almost too quiet to register. A whisper, almost unnoticeable, coming from the darkest corner of the room. So quiet that Clara dismissed it instantly. It was just the wind whistling through a crack in the foundation, she told herself. She tried to ignore it, her mind racing for a rational explanation, but then the sound came again, slithering through the silence. A little louder, clearer now. It was a cold, drawn-out voice, a chilling sound that didn't belong in this world, a voice that seemed to crawl up her spine as it unmistakably called her name. The flashlight shook in her hand, its beam dancing over the damp walls and packed dirt floor. The air was heavy, smelling of mold and decay. Her heart raced, a frantic drum against her ribs. She gave a nervous laugh, a hollow sound in the darkness, trying to convince herself it was just her imagination. But the whisper returned, a drawn-out, cold moan that seemed to seep into her bones. It wasn't just a sound, it was a feeling, waiting in the shadows of the house itself. Now it clearly came from the back wall of the basement, an unmistakable and desperate call. With slow steps, almost against her will, Clara approached, drawn by a morbid curiosity. Each step made the air feel heavier, colder, as if she were entering a tomb forgotten by time. Hesitantly, she touched the cold, rough stone. She pressed her ear against the wall, holding her breath, straining to hear past her own frantic pulse, and heard clearly.
"Help me!"
She jumped back, a scream caught in her throat by pure terror, tripping over a box. A cascade of old photographs scattered across the dusty floor. Clara picked one up and her stomach churned. The image showed a girl with her same eyes, her same smile, but the photo was old, dated 1952. On the back, a final message written in shaky handwriting read, "I'm down here." The voice from the wall belonged to the girl in the photo.